Hey guys, it's Bethany with ABQ Creations here with another tutorial for you. It's going to be a little different today. I've got a part 1 of 3 parts for you. I'm going to show you how to make a series of summer into fall shawls, and they're really easy to work up. They're very similar, but if you just change some minor things about the pattern, I'll show you how you can get these 3 very different looks and for each different occasion. For today's tutorial, I'm going to focus on this shawl. This is a great option for any time of year. It can be nice and light for summer, but it can also be worn in winter as it doesn't add too much bulk and thickness in the middle of winter when you're in buildings, but you still want to wear a cute scarf or shawl. So this can be a really great option, and I wanted to show you guys how you can make one. You can either add the fringe, which I will go into later in the video. I've also posted another link just to adding fringe to your work down below. Or you can leave it off. It's totally up to you. But here are the supplies that you'll need to get started with part 1 for this tutorial. A crochet hook. Today I'm using a 6.5mm sized hook. Yarn. Today I'm using Sugar and Cream in white. I didn't even use a full cone for this, so there's definitely plenty of yarn on there for this project. Scissors, a needle for weaving in your ends, and this one is optional, but if you're going to add fringe to your shawl, you'll either need a ruler for measuring out how long your yarn should be, or you're going to need something to wrap it around. I use my cell phone in the video. One more thing before I start, on my fringe for this project, I ended up adding it to the side of every single row instead of every other row as I did in the example video. So if you want to have more fringe to your look like I'm showing right here, then you're going to want to do it on the side of every single row. Let's get started. To get started with our summer shawl, you want to chain on 226 stitches. If you'd like to make it longer, just keep your chain in multiples of 4 plus 10. Once you have your chain of 226 stitches, or however many multiples of 4 plus 10 that you want to create, then we're going to start working back down our chain. Now I'm going to be using a treble crochet, sometimes known as a triple crochet in the US terms. But if you don't know how to do one, it's okay. I'll show you right now. It's very simple to do if you already know how to do a double crochet. So we're going to work into our 10th chain from the hook. And I like to work in the back loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to be working into this chain. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to wrap my hook twice. Okay, so once you have your hook wrapped twice, you're going to insert it into the chain. Okay, and once you've inserted, you're going to yarn over again, pull that loop through so that you have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through your last 2 stitches. And we're going to repeat this across, so I will show you again how I do that. So this is going to be our first big loop. So you're going to chain 3. We're going to double wrap our hook again, so yarn over twice. Then we're going to skip the next 3 chains, so 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work into this 4th chain, and we're going to do another treble crochet. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Again, we're going to chain 3, yarn over twice, and then in our 4th chain, we're going to skip those first 3. Going into the 4th, we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through the final 2. So we're going to keep this pattern going and create these nice big loops all the way across. So go ahead and finish your chain 3 and then treble crochet into the 4th chain all the way across, and I'll meet you at the end. Coming up to the end of my row, I'm going to finish my last chain 3 and my last treble crochet. Okay, so your first row should look something like this, a nice long string of these nice big squares. Okay, so to begin our next row, we're going to chain 3, we're going to turn our work, and we're going to immediately decrease. So we're going to decrease at the beginning and end of each row. So this is how you're going to do your decrease treble crochet. You're going to wrap your hook, you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook twice, and then you're going to insert your hook at the base of this chain 3 or the top of the treble crochet from the previous round. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop so you have 4 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then when you still have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to wrap your yarn around twice, and then you're going to insert your hook into the next treble crochet. So you're going to skip your chain 3, and then you're going to go into the next treble crochet, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and that's going to be your treble crochet decrease. So you're going to do that at the beginning and the end of every row. Now we're going to continue on with the pattern for the previous round, and so you're going to chain 3 and do a treble crochet into the top of the next treble crochet. And now we're going to chain 3, do another treble crochet into the next treble crochet, skipping all those chain spaces. And this is what the pattern is going to look like. You're going to end up with these nice big blocks. So go ahead and finish that up, and I will meet you back at the end of the row. So towards the end of this row, you should notice that your pattern is starting to work up like this. So next up, I have the last treble crochet decrease to work on. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and chain 3. We're going to yarn over twice for our treble crochet decrease. We're going to insert our hook into the top of our next treble crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to leave 2 on our hook. We're going to yarn over twice, and then again we're going to skip the first 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then we're going to work into the 4th chain that's on the end. So we're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So there is our decrease. So then we're going to chain 3 and turn our work, and right away again we're going to go back into another treble crochet decrease. So in the top of our last treble crochet decrease, we're going to start our next decrease. So yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and again leaving 2 on your hook, yarn over twice, insert into the top of the next treble crochet, and then yarn over and pull through the last 3. So that's what we're going to have. So at the beginning and end of each row, that's what you want to be doing. And it can get tricky as you work further up your triangle. A lot of times when I'm working back, I end up crocheting too far, and I usually have to undo my last treble crochet. I'll show you what I mean once I get to the end of this row. So go ahead and finish up your pattern just like before. So chain your 3, yarn over twice, and then finish your treble crochet into the next treble crochet, and then continue on with your pattern. I'll meet back with you at the end. I'm coming up to the end of my 3rd row, and I wanted to show you sometimes what can happen. I ended up crocheting all the way down to this point, but this is where I'll have to do my decrease over this stitch and this stitch. So you might find that you'll have to get to your end of your row and undo your last treble crochet, which is just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and complete my last decrease of the row. So I'm going to do my treble crochet decrease, and then I'm going to work into the top of my last decrease. Or I should say my first decrease from the last row. So again, we're going to chain 3, turn our work, and start with another decrease right away. So you can see where we're starting to angle our shawl this way. So go ahead and repeat the pattern until you get to the end of your squares, and I'll show you what happens when you meet up and you come to your point, and then we'll finish up our shawl. I have worked up my decreases until I have 4 treble crochets remaining on the top. So you can see all my decreases and kind of how it should be looking on the sides of your summer shawl right now. So the next thing we need to do is finish off to make our point. Now you might have, if you changed the number of chains you started with, it could change how many treble crochets you finish with. You're either going to be down to 4 or you're going to have 3. Now if you only have 3 left, this is how I would do it. I would do a double treble decrease. So I would start with the treble crochet, stopping at 2 loops left on my hook, and then I would do the next double crochet by yarning over twice, but then I would leave 3 chains on my hook and then yarn over twice, and then I would decrease into the 3rd one and finish that off, and that would be my final point. So I would finish it like that and have my triple decrease. But since we have 4 left, I will show you how we're going to take care of that. So I'm going to do my normal decrease over the first 2 for this row. So leaving 2 on. Okay, so we did our first decrease. I'm going to do my chain 3, and then I'm simply going to do my last decrease, and then I'm going to stop there. I'll disconnect. Okay, so now we just have this 1 loop left, and it'll come down to a point when we're done with, when we add our fringe, we'll put it right there so it'll make it, it'll weigh it down and make it come to a point. So I always finish with just a chain 1 and tighten it down. I'm going to cut my ends. So once you have that completed, we're going to weave in our ends. Should have just the one at the front and the back unless you had to change up yarn, which is fine. And you can either stop here, and I'll show you what a picture of that looks like. If you want to keep going though and add some fringe, then stay tuned and I'll throw that video in next. If you're going to stop here with your shawl and leave it without the fringe, thank you so much for watching. If you could please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date and check out the next shawls I'll be coming out with. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day. The first thing you need to do when adding fringe to your work is figuring out where you would like to have the placement of the fringe and how much fringe you want hanging off. For example, I wanted to have 3 strands of worsted weight yarn folded over to make 6 strands for each fringe, and I wanted to place them so that they were at every other loop on my project. So once you have the placement down, because you don't want it to be overcrowded and you don't want it to be too few. But again, that's totally up to you. And then I did the same thing on this shawl. Again, trying to find every other loop and place it there for every other row. So on my summer shawl, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to start down at the bottom, but I need to cut my yarn first. And actually I should say you also need your cell phone or something to measure around. My strands end up being about 11 inches in length, but this is how I measure mine out. So I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to measure around it, and this will be 1 strand. So to do 2, 3, and you don't want to pull too tight because you won't be able to get your scissors in. So I kind of just gently wrap, and that's 4, 5, 6, 7. And I usually wrap until I get about 21 strands because it's a divisible by 3. But go ahead and finish wrapping up and I'll meet back with you once we finish our 21 rounds. Okay, after you have about 21 strands, and it's not, you don't have to be exact with it. I wouldn't do too many more than that because the bulkier you get up here, the more uneven the strand lengths will be. And it's okay if they're not totally perfect. You really don't notice when your work is finished. And if you want to touch that up, you can, but I kind of like to leave it a little bit more natural. So I'm going to clip my strand, and then, and you want to be careful not to damage your phone or whatever you're using. Okay, then I go in and cut, and now I've got my strands I want to work with. So I'm going to take 3 of them. Okay, and you try to line them up. Again, some will go just a little bit longer. Just got a hair in there. Some will go just a little bit longer than others, and that's okay. So you're going to join them at the tip and keep this loop open. You're going to find on your work where you want to place it. So I'm going to start at the tip of my shawl. Now I'm going to just place my hook. Here, let me get the back out of there. Okay. I'm going to place my hook through where I want to place my fringe. I'm going to take my folded over strands and get right in the middle. I'm going to pull it through that loop and do like a yarn over here, and then I'm going to pull all 6 of the strands through that loop and pull tight. And that's our first fringe. So we're going to go ahead and continue this. So again, you want to figure out where you want each of your strands to be placed. So you just kind of eyeball it and figure where you would like to most see it. I think I'm just going to go for these loops on each of these, and then I'll see where it goes. So you can even start by placing your hook there. Grab 3 more strands. Line them up. And pull tight. So again, we're going to keep it even. So we're just going to continue all the way up the shawl with this. The only thing to make sure of, guys, is to remain consistent in how you're applying it. So if I'm going through this side of the shawl, I'm going to want to go through this side all the way up. I don't want to turn my work and work through the back of this, unless you wanted to make it into sort of a design, because you'll notice how the knot goes. It looks like this from this side, and you can always change it around so that this side is showing, that's fine. But just be consistent all the way, because your knot will look different if you're entering through opposite sides. So don't interchange that. Okay, so I'm gonna get my next one going. And that is how you add fringe. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all of my current videos. You can see some of the other examples of where I used fringe on my work down below. I'll link to my projects if you'd like to do some of these shawls. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.